All right, so we're going to talk about melee combat in this game, okay? First of all, what is the threat range?
Threat range is how far you can attack another character if you're within it. So, for example, if you have a 2-inch threat range, like the Minotaur, he can be 2 inches away from the target and still be able to hit him.
Gotcha.
So you're engaged with your character at that point, engaged with another character.
Okay, and if you move out, that's considered disengaging?
Correct.
Gotcha.
Well, he can disengage free as long as you're not within his threat range.
Gotcha.
So you have to be within both three.
Okay.
You're engaging, not engaged.
Gotcha.
So you want to, if you're engaging somebody, you can freely move out. If you're engaged, you cannot.
Gotcha. So let's run down a little about how melee works. We'll go ahead and show you. All right, let's go down here on the board here.
Okay, so the Minotaur in this one is going to be charging the Kayad warrior.
Okay, so I recharge, so I'll give it 2 exhaustion points and mark it up.
And that's your charge, but it also includes a free attack. Okay. So what you're going to be doing for the Minotaur, he has a form of 5.
So I'll get 5 dice.
You get 5 dice, and you have a melee of 6. However, because you charge, not only do you get a free attack, but your target number goes up by 1 just for this attack.
Okay, awesome.
So you get to roll 5 dice, and you need a 7 or less.
7. All right. 7 or less. Come on, baby. See what we got here. Oh, that's not good. Got a 5. Oh, I got 1 hit out of all this. Wait, 7 counts, right?
Yeah.
7 or less, right? So 2 hits.
Sweet. So you got a 7 and a 3, it looked like.
Yeah.
So me, for the Kayad, I have an awareness of 4.
Okay.
And I have a defense of 5.
Okay.
So I get to roll 4 dice, and they need 5s or less.
Okay.
And I got 1.
Okay. Now, what about your armor?
Oh, good question. So my armor, I have an armor of 1 on the Kayad, meaning I get to reroll 1 miss.
Okay.
And I got a 10.
That's a huge miss. That's a fumble.
That's a bad miss.
Yeah.
I may have poked myself in the eye.
Oh, that's not good. How do you know if you poked yourself in the eye?
It hurts.
Other than it hurting.
So if we look at this, I got 1 success. You got 2.
Yeah.
That pulls away, which means you got 1 through. You add your bonus damage, which is 2, and then I mark my points.
All right.
And I'm going to choose, the defender always chooses where to mark it.
Okay.
So because he's a fighter and I'm not going to be using a lot of essence, I'm going to take 2 points to my essence, and I'm going to take 1 point to my form, knowing that you can attack again, so I need those points.
Okay. Now, the armor just lets you reroll. That's
just lets you reroll defense.
All right, now let's go ahead and suppose that, going back to that same example, this time you had 4 dice. Give me one of your dice there. Let's say you rolled let's just say you rolled an 8, 6, 2 is a hit, and then you rolled a 1 here. What happens?
The 1 will roll up again.
So you get to roll another dice.
I get to roll another dice.
But roll another dice. Gotcha.
And this is a 5.
This is another hit.
So it's another success.
Gotcha.
If it was another 1, for example.
If you rolled another 1 on top of the 1.
I would get to keep rolling.
Okay. So it keeps stacking.
It keeps stacking and stacking. That's how sometimes, even though you've got a weak character, it can do a lot of defense or damage, even to the...
So we're going to go to range combat now. Now, the rolling and stuff, it's all the same.
Exactly.
But a couple of stuff that you should know about. Weapons that are denoted with an asterisk means that it could be used in melee or ranged.
Correct.
Okay, and what else?
And the other thing is you've got threat ranges on your weapons, on your ranged weapons, not just on your hand-to-hand weapons.
Oh, okay.
So, for example, the Sicarius, which is the archer, has a range of basically 12 and 24 inches. There's a point blank, but that doesn't count for a longbow.
Okay.
So anything within 12 inches is regular range, but they can shoot up to 24 inches away.
Okay, so that means if you're shooting long range, you get some
You're going to get penalties.
Yeah.
Normal range is going to be no positive or negatives, and then point blank for a lot of weapons, that's going to give you a +1 to your target number.
Okay, what is the penalties for long range?
-1.
-1. Okay. Also, there's a chart for it, and the chart is in the quick start rules, so check that out when you start messing around with range.
Yep.
Stuff like that. Now, the other thing about shooting is shooting into combat. That's another thing we have to talk about.
Okay, so shooting into combat is really cool, and it was devised. It was actually where we say we want player feedback.
Yeah.
This was player feedback because Corey Briggs is the one when we were playing one day. He goes, "Well, him and Dan were like, I'm not really sure this is working too well." So we redefined it, especially Corey, and how it works.
Okay. So here's a good example of shooting into combat. Here's my Sicarius archer. I also have this Minotaur here. The Minotaur is in combat with the Kayad. The Kayad. Okay.
Yes.
So if I'm to shoot in here and I did more misses than hits, that means what? I randomized between these two guys?
You missed the Kayad, so you're automatically going to hit your Minotaur.
Okay, so there is no randomization here.
No.
It's just my Minotaur.
No, if there's only 2 characters like that, you're not randomizing it. You're automatically going to hit the Minotaur.
Okay, let's just say this was combat. I have an extra guy here. These 2 are my guy, and so is the guy shooting. If you hear miss him, then I randomize between these 2.
Correct.
Okay, so this guy never... If I miss, he's really missed.
He's just missed.
Okay. Now here's an example you said. Let's assume that this is 24 inches, the long range, okay? And my Minotaur's back here, fighting here. Now you're saying this is right here is 24 inches. He's 25. If I miss him, then the only guy that gets hit is this guy. Because
Correct.
He's out of range.
Correct.
All right, so there is a range thing. You have to count even in combat in a type of situation.
Correct.
Okay, gotcha. Spellcasting in this game. We talked a little about it earlier.
Yep.
Right? How would you roll to cast a spell, basically? Let's give an example.
Let's look at the Hodgin. He's your magic user for this demo game.
Okay.
So on it, he has a spell called Improve Psychic Blast.
Okay.
Spells in this game are just skills.
Okay.
There's nothing special about them other than who can use them and who can't.
All right.
Depending on the path that you pick. So for a Psychic Blast, it costs 2 EP to use. Mm-hmm. It has a range just like a bow and arrow of 4 inches for point blank, 8 inches for normal, 12 inches for long range.
Okay. And all the penalties and everything?
Same penalties.
Same thing? Okay.
And it has a target number of 4.
All right.
So instead of using your awareness when you do range combat, you're going to use your essence.
Gotcha.
Because that's how you cast spells.
And all you need is just one success?
One success. Well, they get to defend.
Oh, they do. So there is a defense against spells.
There's defense against spells. No. However, this one has a special ability that instead of using your awareness to defend from this one, you're going to be using your awareness, you're going to be using your essence.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So you really want to target people with that. This skill also negates any kind of armor.
Oh, okay.